Hi, it's John Pennington here. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more of the 3D code experience. In this video, I want to take us all the way to completing a project. I want to create something real simple, basically a pencil cup with some embellishments on it. And so anyways, as I'm going through here, I'm going to describe the tools I'm using. So what I want to do is I want to open up a voxel sculpting. I'm going to need a cylinder, so I'm going to start with that one. Okay. Now that basically, when you click on that cylinder, it takes you into the primitives. If you see right up here at the top left, it says primitives. So basically the primitive tool is selected. If I scroll down through all these, you'll see it's highlighted as well. So I come into this with the ability to add a cylinder to my project. And now the thing we want to do first anytime you bring a primitive in is set its orientation and its size. Okay, let's turn on the grid so we can get an idea of how big this is, because the size of our primitive is also going to determine its resolution. Okay, this is the only time that I'm aware of at this point that the startup of an item actually chooses the resolution of that layer as well. So if you look down here on the bottom, you'll see right now there's no triangles and we have those abilities changes. So I'm going to use the blue ring, and I'm going to make this larger. I want to make this about a 4x4 grid. So looking at that, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to make it taller. So I'm gonna, instead of using the scale in the center, I'm going to scale up, and yeah, it looks like a pretty nice view for a cup. Okay, go over here to the side, pressing my left mouse button allows me to do the rotating of the camera, and that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. Now after you apply a tool, you stay in the tool, which means I can actually start to put a second primitive in. In this particular instance, I'm actually not going to do that. I want to move to a different tool. Okay, and so the tool I'm going to move to, I'm pressing my space bar, I'm going to move to the transform tool. This way I have my cup in the center. Okay, I'm going over here to the right hand side. The first thing I want to do to this cup is I want to copy it. Okay, and I could have done that by adding a primitive, but I wanted you to see how to copy a layer. So basically what I did was I highlighted the volume 4, which is, now I'm double clicking on it, that is the pencil cup main or base. Okay, and then I've got the copy here, which I'm going to call cutout, because it is going to be the shape that I'm going to cut out of this pencil cup. Okay, now I want to make sure that I'm in orthographic view, which, so I go up here to this little cube and I highlight it. When it's in that position, I'm in orthographic view. Okay, when it's up, I'm in perspective. So I want to click on this, and then I want to go to my front facing camera, which is the number 2 on my keypad, and so I'm looking directly at it. I'll go over here to the layers again, click on the pencil cup main, and I didn't actually have to click on it, but anyways, now that I'm there, I'm going to click on the little ball. That will ghost the image of the top layer, so that way you can see through it. Click on cutout. Let's go over here to the cup, using the cube that's in the very center. That's our scale cube, and this is the one that'll scale uniform. The other cubes will scale on an axis. Now what I want to do is shrink the inside cube, so that way I have an even space the whole way around. After I've done that, I'm going to go to the cube that allows me to scale on my Y vertex axis, and I'm going to make it go up. Okay, after I've done that, I'm going to scoot that up, and I'm paying attention to here on the bottom the distance, because I want the top cut off, but I want a bottom that's about as thick as my sidewalls. Once I've got that set, I'm going to bring the visibility of the cup back up, and then I'm going to click on cutout. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to go down here in the bottom where I have some really powerful tools. I can merge, I can subtract, and I can intersect. I'm going to subtract that from my I can see I misspelled pencil cup. I'll correct that in a minute from my pencil cup main. But before I do that, I want to duplicate my cutout because I might need to use this cutout twice. So I don't want to have to try to guess what the center of my cup is. So I'm going to make a copy of it, and I'm going to actually use the copy. So I right click on the copy, do a subtract from, subtract from, click on pencil cup cutout. Okay, and just so that I have things looking good, I'm going to change that spelling in there. So okay, so my pencil cup. So that's my cutout. And now I'm going to make this invisible by clicking on the eye because I don't need to see it right now. I'm going to rotate the camera just so you can see I actually have a very nice cup. And I could stop there. That's actually a project in and of itself. I've made a cup. Could put a handle on it. I could deform it a little bit. I can do a lot of things right now. But what I'm going to show you next is a pretty interesting tool that uses the symmetry of this program. I'm going to click on the pencil cup main. I'm going to click new layer, and the reason that I've clicked on pencil cup main before I click on the new layer is that the new layer will create under the selected item, and I just like to keep things in a certain order. Everybody has their own order. I think one of the hardest things when I go to work on friends' computers is the confusion that they have because they haven't put things in folders, they haven't labeled them, and they can't find what they're trying to show me because they lack the discipline of order. Order helps, and when you create an order, not only helps you, but it helps the person coming in that's possibly going to see your work later, because if you work in a common order, then it's easy for someone to come in and say, okay, I understand where this is at, I know where to find it. Alrighty, so this new layer, I'm going to call it my embellishments. Okay. And so this is going to be where I'm going to put my decorations. Now I could have put all of my decorations on the actual pencil cup, but the problem that I have with doing that is that when I make a change to a layer, if it's an object that I want to modify a layer, then I actually have to modify the whole model, whereas I can actually click on embellishments and just fine-tune them. And my pencil cup stays safe because it's in its own layer and it's protected from anything I do. So whatever I do here on this layer will not hurt the pencil cup layer. Okay, I'm going to turn off that grid. I'm going to go to a top view, which is number 7 on my keypad. I'm going to kind of bring things here into the center a little bit. I am going to go up here and click on symmetry. I could also hit the S button, but the thing is when I do it up here, it locks in. Okay, I've actually got some of my tools docked, so my symmetry is over here on the side docked. Normally it comes in over here. Okay, and see how it's locked. I can move my mouse off of it and it doesn't go anywhere. When you're doing what I'm about to do, it's good to have it locked, and again I have it docked at this moment. Okay, so I want to enable symmetry. I want to be able to see the plane and the symmetry type. I'm going to do radial symmetry. Okay, and now when you see I've actually got the number is 4, so when I go over here I've got 4 dots. I'm going to change this, let's say, to 9, which is an odd number, but I like doing things in odd. So now you see how I've got all of those. Okay, let's go to this tool called sphere. Let's go to, excuse me, I'm mousing over things that I don't need to be doing, and it's a very quick program, and so if you move your mouse up a little too high, something will jump down. Just move away, it'll disappear. This is the E panel, and in here are the stroke modes. Okay, these are all basic control with your mouse. Now as you notice, there's like a little capsule thing that showed up in this particular one. I need to go over here to my alphas and highlight one of these ones in the top. I like the one on the end because it has a very soft edge. Okay, and so when I use this particular tool, I can, and I'm just demonstrating right now, I can draw my circle or whatever it is I want to draw, and boom, there it is. Now because I had the 9 on and I'm recording, my computer's a little bit funky in how it operated there, but that basically duplicated that item 9 times. I'm going to Control Z out of that. Okay, I'm going to go to a different tool that I think will work a little bit easier. I'm going to this circle tool, because this tool is not as much of a drawing tool as it is a shape tool, and I'm going to create that circle, and then boom, I've got 9 circles the whole way around. Now obviously I want these on the cup, so I'm going to recreate these but closer to the cup. Okay, so I'm going to Control Z them again, and I'm going to bring it right down here to my cup, and I'm going to create my circle. I'm going to say about that shape. Okay, let's do a little rotation, see what's going on. Okay, looks pretty good. Now I know it's at the wrong location, and that's okay because I didn't make this on the cup. I can actually go and move this around, and so that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to accept that the way it is. I'm going to click on my space bar. I'm going to bring up my transform tool, which is in 2 places in mine because I have it down here as well as saved up here as a shortcut. So I have those things set up a certain way. Now what I want to do to this is I want to shape it. I don't want it to just be a round ball. I think I want the outside edge of it to be a little bit flattened. Okay, so let's go back up to the top view, my 7 on my panel, and let's go to the cutout tool, which is in the adjusting area, and let's select it. Let's go up here to the E panel and make sure that we've selected the tool that we can work with. I've got the square, the rectangle, the ability to draw my own vertices. This is a freeform draw, this is a circle, this is an ellipse, and this is using splines to draw a closed curve. I like the rectangle tool for a lot of things. I'm going to use that one. Actually, I'm going to change that because of the angle of my balls. I'm going to use the vertex lasso. Okay, and the reason I'm going to zoom in a little so you can see this better where you're at. The reason I'm using this is I can actually click and click and click. And once I get the shape I want, the last double click will actually do the cutoff, and so that should take it away. Now there's a problem here. Let me just kind of roll this so you can see it. I like the fact that I don't have everything set up, because you're going to see some things that are going to happen to you and you're going to be like, how did that happen? Why did it not work the way I wanted it to? Well, there actually is a setting that I didn't realize was on. 3D Coat remembers almost everything you did the last time you used it. Now I could have reset the windows here, but I wanted to be able to show you some of this in this project. So I'm going to Control Z out of that. I'm going to go back up here to my E panel, and I'm going to look at a couple things. I want to make sure that I'm not ignoring my back faces, so I want to get rid of that. Okay, and I'm going to go back to the E panel, and I don't want a depth limit. I want it to go the whole way through. Click number 7 for the top view again. I'm still in my cutoff. I'm going to click, and I could actually click and make an odd shape inside of that circle, but for right now I'm just trying to do kind of a parallel to the curve, and then double click my thing, and it cut. This time it cut the whole way off. Now as you see from the outside, it looks like a little button on the cup. I like that. I could do other things with it. I'm pressing in the wrong place. Whenever I'm in this particular type of tool, if I click over here, it's going to draw. Okay, so to move my cup around my camera, I have to click in the outside perimeter, or I have to go up here and use one of these tools that I showed earlier, the rotate tool, the pan tool, whatever it is I want to use. Okay, now when I created this on its own layer, give me the ability to move it around and do all sorts of things. But one of the things that's interesting is because I use the sphere is on the outside where I want it, but it also protruded all the way on the inside. Remember, we kept the cutout as a layer, so I'm going to click on my cutout. I'm going to make it visible. I'm going to copy it. I keep hitting the wrong thing. I'm going to highlight the cutout, and then I'm going to go down here and copy it. Okay, I'm going to go back up here and make my cutout invisible again. My cutout copy is visible. I'm going to do the same thing I did the last time. I'm going to cut this from, but this time I'm going to do it from my embellishments. Now it's cut off the back of my embellishments. Okay, so this way when I click on anything other than that, it looks very smooth inside of there, and my model looks nice. I'm going to go back to my pencil cup main. Actually, I'm going to go to my cutouts. And so I have them there. I'm going to press 2 for a nice side view. I'm going to pan it into the center. I'm going to try this, click all. Okay, it doesn't quite give me the look I want. Now I can see my whole cup because I've right-clicked and dragged into center here. And see, now I'm not in those special tools, so I can use all of these features for moving in here. Okay, again, number 2, panned up. Okay. I want more embellishments. Not saying I need to overdo it, but I want more. I don't need to do the same thing I did because I already have a row. I'm going to take the embellishments. I'm going to copy it, hitting the layer tool on the bottom. This is duplicate. And so now I have 2 of them. Okay, and you see the symmetry comes back up because there is symmetry applied to these layers. I'm going to go to my transform tool, and I'm going to bring it down. The nice thing, this one here doesn't have to be recut because we've already done that on the last one. I'm going to go to the top, view 7, and I'm going to rotate this. Oops. Now what happened there was I wasn't, the tool wasn't highlighted. I was just barely off to the side. Okay, let me pan this down a little bit. Okay, and you can rotate on either side, and I'm going to rotate this just so that the new dot is like right in between those dots. I'm going to go to the side, or the front view, number 2, and I'm going to take a look, and it looks like it's about where I want it to be. And now I have the 2 rows together. Okay, using my middle mouse button, I panned up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put that a little bit higher up there, probably right about there. And I like that. I'm going to rotate around a little bit just to see. Yeah, it looks good. I'm happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to I have embellishments copy. I don't need those to be a separate layer. I want to duplicate both of those, but before I do, I'm going to right click and merge that copy with the original. Okay, I only did that because I'm not planning to use the embellishments separately again. Okay, now I have them all. It's a little bit of a zigzag. I make sure it's highlighted. I get down here, I duplicate it, and I like to stay in front or side views when I'm moving because then I know I'm going to move exactly straight up or down. Okay, and so I've copied it. I'm back to my transform tool. I'm going to bring it down towards the bottom, and there we are. Okay, I'm going to just move to my smooth tool so everything's out of the way, and pretty much there's my cup. Okay, I'm going to save this as it is, and I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to come right back to it, and I want to put some initials on the side of it. I'm going to use the initial CF for the Cubify fans, but I'm just wanting you to be able to see how to do some things to decorate your own objects. And I've barely showed you anything, but now we've been able to do a few things, and we've made one complete project. The only difference between something as simple as this and elaborate as a spaceship or a car is just that there's more parts. And as you learn how to shape each individual parts and assemble them as needed, you're unlimited. You can build as large as your computer and your imagination can contain. And I think that's awesome. I'll be right back.